So yesterday I watched a film called Wild Indian. It has to do with indigenous people living in Wisconsin, and it's modern times, and it's about sort of the things, the issues that we're aware of in that culture: alcoholism, child abuse. The story of two classmates who are bullied, who are kind of the geeks of their class, and one of them, whether because of the abuse he suffered or they don't really go into his psychology, but one of them is kind of a sociopath and the other is not. And they wind up more or less by accident committing a murder, and they have to hide it. They have to cover it up, and they do that successfully. And so then the film fast forwards to them both being adults, and the one who was emotionally healthy, his life just came apart, and he was never able to get it together and have an adult life. The other is a very successful businessman in a city somewhere. It might be New York. You're not really sure. And the film is actually produced by Jesse Eisenberg, and he makes a cameo appearance in The Office with the main character, who was called Makwa in his hometown and has now changed his name to Michael to fit in better in the city. But while the film it's about Michael's life and how he got to where he is, but it's also a lot about the issues of that cultural group of people and sort of the problems that come out of that, both at a macro and micro level. So it's kind of a sad film overall. You see how everyone gets where they wind up, but very, very well done. It was directed by a gentleman who's from that area and is talking about his people and his family. So I highly recommend it. I'm going to give it a 7, but it's not a cheery film by any stretch, but it's extremely well done.
So is it the kind of the story of the murder aside, but it's about two men living in two worlds, basically, or
right.
Fighting between two worlds? Is that the
idea? Yeah, and you don't really see his classmate, the one that was healthy. You don't really see him until about halfway through the film as an adult. But it's kind of like how they both dealt with what happened, and then having to come back to their hometown and kind of face the past.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, interesting. Okay.
I actually was able to catch that film as well, and I found that there were also some really interesting Cain and Abel overtones.
I would agree with that.
Happening, going on there. What did you catch on that?
No, I agree with that. I see parallels like that, and I kept sort of waiting for something redemptive or something, and there was. I don't want to spoil or anything, but there is something along those lines. But a lot of the conclusions that were set into motion when they were children play themselves out.
Yeah, Norm, what were your general thoughts about it?
About Wild Indian, I thought it was overall very good. I personally gave it about a 7.
Yeah.
And I think there were moments that were a little forced here and there, that didn't kind of land right. But I did think it was a solid movie and a very interesting one. And I actually found it a bit confusing with their twists of fate. Like at first, oh God, my headphone. At first, I wasn't exactly sure who was who in the future, because one resembled, they favored, the older version favored the other one, and I was just like, wait a minute, who's who? And then, they had the titles. So
right. And I wanted to know myself. I wanted to know more about the protagonist's life. I wish they dug a little deeper into his journey that got him to the city.
Yeah. It would have been nice, but again, it wasn't necessary. But
all right, very good. So that was Wild Indian, right?
Yep.